This is not the Church of Latter-day Saints, of Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ. To remove the Lord's name from the Lord's church is a major victory for Satan.
Me. Trav is my good soul. I'm in the mood to pick on Russell, Marion, Nelson, simply because it's a scandal. Skull and bones. Skull and bones, skull and bones. So, yeah, this will be a comment reply video. And we get to go over President Russell Marion Nelson, who I have now confirmed. No thanks to anybody else. Was in the Skull and Bones at the University of Utah. And so when we get to that comment, we'll go over it. Gonna make you wait. All right. So Mervyn Eggleston was the first comment. And technically he needs to be banned. But there's an important doctrine that he's misunderstood that I can cover for you. Because it deals with me. As he tells me to shut up. Shh. Keep things a secret. You know, like the Skull and Bones Society that Nelson oopsied. So he says, we must have experienced different churches. Yeah, there are different churches within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You are correct. I read the Book of Mormon at 24. Okay. So you were a young man, and you read the Book of Mormon at 24. Okay. So you didn't get born and raised Mormon. So yeah, you were in a different church. You did not experience life as a born in the covenant and raised Mormon. There is a difference. And you are over 20 years older than I am, 30 years older than I am. And so yeah, a completely different church. Because you say, and am now 85. It has been excellent. I really loved to study doctrine. So did I. I immersed myself in all scriptures. My parents, combined together with their marriage, had a church history library. And I immersed myself in it. To me, the New Testament is a great witness for Joseph Smith being a true prophet. Okay. You're vague in general, but okay. There might be some problems here. And there. But I smell blood in the water. The church is true. What are those problems? Say or do not. Do not vaguely mask it. Accusing and even laughing reflect more on you than on the church. No. Nope. Because emotions are a response to our interpretation of the 5 physical senses. So for you, you read the Book of Mormon, and your interpretation of it led you to believe that the New Testament is great witness for Joseph being a true prophet. But my reading and interpretation of the Book of Mormon and all doctrine of the church is wrong, because I'm laughing and accusing of the prophets not adhering to the Book of Mormon doctrine. Do you see where you went wrong? You really do need to be banned. You wasted your whole life. Read Alma, and he puts a correction with the following comment, that it's Alma chapter 12 verse 9. We can know for sure, but don't have to. Attitude tells the story. No, it doesn't. Because mocking and laughing and accusing can have multiple interpretations from which it stems. That's why behavioral science, i.e. psychology, is a fraud. Right, John Dehlin? Alma chapter 12. Alma is contending with Zeezrom. Zeezrom? Doesn't matter. I don't care. It was the BYU boys who gave the phonetics for the spelling for the 1981 edition of the Book of Mormon. And now Alma began to expound these things unto him, saying, It is given unto many to know the mysteries of God. What are the mysteries of God? Do you know? I doubt it. If you did, you'd understand why I accuse and laugh at the prophets. This is the learning of the Jews. This is Jewish Kabbalah. Did you know that? No? Nevertheless, they are laid under a strict command that they shall not impart only according to the portion of his word which he doth grant unto the children of men, according to the heed and diligence which they give unto him. Shut up, Travis. Shut up. You did not understand. Only according to. It has been imparted unto me. And who imparts it? The Jewish Christ. Not Jesus. Jewish Kabbalah, remember? Learning of the Jews, remember? Who is the Christ as understood in the learning of the Jews? The post-series summary video I just put up went over the Wikipedia page, Messianism in Judaism. It's a human. Their scriptures were written specifically about a future human. Not an immortal being. Not an exalted being. Not a supernatural being. Thus, not Jesus. Jesus is messianic literature. Prophecy of the latter days of the Jewish Christ, which comes from Deuteronomy, the law of the Jews. chapter 18, verses 15 through 19. Now look in your Book of Mormon, 3rd Nephi, chapter 20, 23. Then go to Joseph Smith History, 1838, verse 40. Follow it to Acts. That Christ is supposed to impart to Mormons in the latter days some very important information on 9/11 in the Jewish calendar, wearing red garments. Or what will happen to you if you don't hearken to him? Mysteries of God. Not a very bright person, Mervyn. Sorry, man. You chose to insult me rather than to hearken. You cut yourself off. Precisely as it stands in Acts. Black LDS Fast and Testimony Sabbath comment replies. Mark Crispin, Quagmire, what the hell? Give me Stewie. Quagmire is a creepy old pervert. The hell? Stewie. Robin, yay. Just keep me wild, please. There's the theme song in the description below, even though it's going to deal with the skull and bones of Russell Marion Nelson. Little Bird. It's a country song. But she's so cute. Robin again, unrepentant Mormon. I get flagged a lot of the time. At this point, it's just sad. And so, yes, another song dedicated to you, Robin. And so also on Unrepentant Mormon, Travis, I actually enjoy your attitude. Don't change. Robin and I, both wild. So yeah, we could have done Born to be Wild, but that's what the church does to us. Alrighty. Black LDS Fast and Testimony Sabbath. War Pigs. From Mark Crispin again. Take care of yourself, Travis. I couldn't live in a state that is controlled by the Mormon cult church. It is bad enough that I live in Arizona. You're still in the land of the Mormon cult church. Are you not aware of that, Mark? Book of LDS Moses, Latter-day Prophecy, and the Learning of the Jews, Free 156. LDS, a false religion from experience. You do know the difference between Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, right? We'll allow this one. There it is. Bulkley. So we'll do you last. So Stanford. Black LDS Fast and Testimony Sabbath. Let's see. There are very few words more terrifying than bow your head and say yes. I went through during the penalties. I was terrified as a 19-year-old boy. Dear God. When spoken by the false Zionist Church of Lucifer, all will have equally nothing. They have agreed to sacrifice their own lives if necessary. Yeah, that's part of the threat that Nelson did by releasing it, even though nobody's going to see it because they're all busy with Thanksgiving preparations and for the holidays and such. But yeah, that ledger is to remind the Danite Mormons specifically, you are the bloodline. You must obey me. You must be marrying child bride polygamy wives with his 2019 change. And so Mormons are not being obedient, even though they are descendants of the Danites. And that ledger was a threat to them, reminding them to obey, or they will be cut off. That's the moment we are told to bow our head and say yes. Terrifying. So yeah, apparently you're too young to remember what I went through. You think just the law of sacrifice is terrifying enough. Its accompanying penalty and sign made it even more serious. Alright. James and Jasmine, Black LDS Fast and Testimony Sabbath. Hello, Mr. Goodsell. The train wreck was in Livingston. Good. Nowhere near us. Thank you so much for asking about our safety. I hate commenting on things not about your teachings. Not an issue. I do comment replies for this very purpose. So here is a historical question I am sure you can answer truthfully. We were studying about the Council of Nicaea when we learned about the Council of Laodicea in the year 363. There were two biblical canons, 59 and 60, that referred to the books of the New Testament in the Bible. In Canon 60, it said that Revelations was omitted from the Bible, the book of Revelation, yeah. When researching Revelation, the book of Revelation, it said that possibly the number 666 was taken out, was talking about the Emperor Nero, reigned AD 5468. Is there any truth to that? No. People claim it. They use one of the Jewish Kabbalistic techniques of gematria, is what it's called, in which each Hebrew letter corresponds to a number, so that when you look at words in Hebrew, you attach the numbers to each one of them, and then you add them up, and then that produces yet another word combination. And they're trying to, claim Nero, and people have done it throughout the years for all sorts of different people. Hitler, Obama. Anybody who they want to hate. And no, they're forcing it. 666 is the Roman numeral combination of IVXLCD. I learned it in 4th grade, Mrs. Sampika. And the number of the beast is a specific prophecy in Revelation chapter 13, which actually corresponds to Trump. Because all of these prophecies of the latter days have to do within the latter day time period. And so Obama, Hitler, whoever are not the latter days. Latter days is an 8-year time period from 2017 to 2019, as given by John in Revelation, chapter 12 and 19. Chapter 12 is the first year of the latter days. Chapter 19 is the last year of the latter days. And so all the revelations of all the Jews, even that character named Jesus in the Gospels, all occur within that time period. Unless it's specifically diverging to talk about the actual birth of the Christ, or the parents and their births, and so on and so forth. But that's higher level learning. And so in 13, we get Iron Maiden's most excellent song right at the end. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a human number of man. And its number is 666. And so you go back to where they first talk about the beast. There's the book of the life of the Lamb, Zion. That's the ledger that I just went over. A 6-hour tour. There it is, right there. This is for Judgment Day. This comes from the Egyptian documents. The judgment scene, if you've ever heard of it or know of it. Facsimile number 3 in our Book of Abraham is close. The Mormon apologists are wrong to associate it with it. It's a marriage scene. It's Joseph Smith letting you know about Revelation 19, the wedding supper feast of the Lamb. And verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. Now obviously this is not real. This is prophecy of the latter days. This is an actual human being. He talks about other beasts, the horsemen of the apocalypse, and they are kings. So this is a leader of a nation, because there are many government leaders who are not called kings anymore. They're called presidents. And he spake like a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Make America great again. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Bombs. He wanted to nuke America. And everybody wants to forget about that and put him in office, as he wants revenge. He wanted to nuke us before. People told him no. He wants revenge now. He's going to put in people who won't tell him no this time. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth. He lies. He's on the Guinness Book of World Records now for being the most lies of a sitting president. By the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. Ever been to one of those, what are they called? Are they CPACs? Is that what they're called? They have them every year, and now they roll out the idol god statue of Trump. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. He also does a lot of talking on TV, over the internet, streaming, the news. He's doing rallies. His image is captured and shown to all the earth. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Yeah, he's got death threats. Threatening to murder. He's been murdering. Hear about our soldiers in Afghanistan? Hear about the babies at the border? This guy is a beast. But he deceiveth them. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand or on the baseball cap of the forehead. MAGA. And so, in case you didn't know, image and trump, shofar in Hebrew, total up to 666. Just checked. It did. Because everything else matched him. And here comes when he visited Welfare Square here in Salt Lake City, Utah, of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where he pushed a shopping cart for the first time and then got up and announced at a presidential rally, you need an ID to go grocery shopping. And the regular press said, what the hell is he talking about? That's what he's talking about. When you receive assistance from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at their storehouses, and you show up, you have to not only present the bishop's signed document of the list of what you're getting, but also your ID to show that it is you. Or a representative duly assigned by the bishop. That's what they told Trump when he took a tour of Welfare Square and pushed a shopping cart for the first time in his life. Well, this is fun. What is this? Oh, this is what the poor people use, huh? He always orders his food with a Diet Coke. And so that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Trump was also suggesting that there be a nationwide identification for those who are loyal to Trump, so that you can buy and sell as long as you have that ID. and thus kick out the illegals who are citizens but are black, or women who got abortions, or LGBTQIAPO+, or. Okay? Prophecy's been fulfilled here, guys. The book is true, and the learning of the Jews. And so, was that just the question, or did I see that there might have been something else to talk about? But yeah, there were different proposals, and finally the one that has stuck is the one that kept the book of Revelation. So, yeah, okay. I think we're good. Okay. And last one before the big show after 30 minutes. Made you wait. Mark Crispin from Doctrine and Covenants 85, Part 6 of 6. Those vending machines that the Mormon cult church has going on is a totally effing joke, actually spelled out phonetically. If the Mormon cult church really wants to help the world, they would shut down their 140 plus Mormon temples and reopen them all to shelter the homeless, poor people, and give away that $300 billion to the poor and needy for food and water around the world. Now, that would be impressive. Yeah, it would. It would be a Band-Aid, a pretty big Band-Aid, but a Band-Aid to fix the problems in the world. $300 billion is sufficient money to make an African country self-sufficient for the rest of their lives. The church refuses to do this. All of these charity organizations around the world refuse to do this. This is the problem with charities. Charities are just giving a fish, and thus they require donations to constantly continue to come in order for them to continually give out fish. If you're unaware, there's the saying that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's a little incomplete and inaccurate, but that's what we're talking about here. Because the church, with their welfare program that has long since stopped, talked about Mormons being self-reliant and self-sufficient. We were told to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. The church would not give the initial assistance to help us on our way. And that's where the difference is. See, when we go to the bishop's storehouse, it's because we failed. And we are forced to go to the bishop and say, I failed, help me. I'm a loser scum, help me. Oh, bagman who collects my tithing, or you will break my kneecaps. And so you are forced to work. But I lost my job, Bishop. Sorry, we cannot give you assistance unless you are working for it. Now, there are bishops who don't follow the rules, but that's what they're supposed to do. And I've got horror stories that I've been telling out of the 7,000 plus videos I've been doing. Even me myself, my own personal experience. And so, yes, the church purposely does not want to help the poor. They only give charity to other charities. And if you are unfamiliar with the 501c3 for IRS tax purposes, charities can form, even if you're a religious charity, so that you can make money for your living. And so that the donations that come in provide your lifestyle. And just as long as you're at least giving the appearance that you're giving some of that donations to help others that your charity was specifically designed for, fine, the IRS will leave you alone. But the whistleblower exposed the church for just tithing, not these vending machines. Because Nelson came out and replied to the whistleblower and confessed these vending machines are the exact same pattern as everything else we do. Or the tithing is exactly the same thing as everything else we do. And so yes, that means these vending machines have an LLC corporation like the Ensign Peak Advisors for tithing, and they invest the money into the stock market, which is not reported to the SEC, which means there's more SEC violations. and they are gaining interest. And what we also found out is that there are offshore bank accounts, thanks to Australia Press, in which the church gets a whole ton of money from whatever source of income. They have an LLC company which they give 10% to, approximately. And then there's a token minimal amount that is actually given for the charity it's supposedly supposed to be for, or given to another charity claiming that they're doing what they're supposed to do. But what about the rest of the money that is not spent? That's where the offshore bank account comes in. They launder it into an offshore bank account to earn interest and hide it from the IRS and Mormons. And so the actual total asset value of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is far more than 300 billion. Far more than 300 billion. And so for a church that's hoarding wealth beyond Scrooge McDuck, beyond Ebenezer Scrooge, since it's Christmas time now, is abominable. But Mormons are pacified by the church's news stories about how they're helping, and the latest one is that they're conserving water. As all Mormons forget, oh, the church stole the water from the Great Salt Lake to cause the drought, and then gave it back, of which it then evaporated and is gone again. And so now the church is claiming that they're conserving water to be good, responsible citizens in the community. Hoping that you forgot about the previous news stories. I didn't forget. I covered them all. And so the process for these charities is all the same as what the church is doing. It's all just to make a buck. And so you're going to see a lot of commercials come out to help the poor children in the world, and dogs and nuns and on a school bus. Give them money to help them. And maybe they'll send you a fake letter from one of those dogs with a little paw stamp on the letter. Thank you for the money you gave the corporation and not to me. Yeah, you got to be very careful of scams. There are some legitimate people who do actually give, but yeah, they got to make a living off of the charity. And so they do pay themselves for their efforts, and they live a good lifestyle because of it. And so yes, no wonder they keep complaining that they need more donations. That's why. So Gail Miller, state of Utah, has those shelters. Church gave $3.3 million to her. And then she laundered the money back, not only through tithing, but also for the Joseph Smith papers, of which we just got the ledger. And so not a single penny goes to the homeless. It'll go to pay the wages of the corporate board, Gail Miller. It'll go to the employees, as they have a tough time getting sufficient employees. Because the cheaper they can run the shelters, the more money they get for themselves. And thus the shelters are a human rights violation. Not just because they allow it to be a place, a safe place for the homeless to do drugs and hog up all the bathroom stalls and have the drug residue go all over the building and make everybody sick and poison everybody. But yeah, that's the whole church's purpose for that. They set it up right before they put me there. And so I'm still suffering from the effects. Supposedly supposed to be gone by now, but this winter is really bad. And that's the only anomaly that would explain it. And I also think that there was a person in this building before me, and they did not disclose that to me. And I'm suspicious that he was doing in the bathroom because I can smell it every once in a while. It's less often now, the longer I've lived here, but all right, here we go. The moment you've all been waiting for and didn't skip to this part. As we're at 42 minutes, huh? I could do this tomorrow morning so that I can bathe and shave while I'm uploading this and saving it. Because now that I know that we're actually waiting till the very last day, as it looks like Mormons are literally going to... Alright. So Spawn, he's a subscriber. He's been around for years. He keeps pushing that Nelson, President Russell Marion Nelson, President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, was a part of the Skull and Bones Society at the University of Utah. And so, doing the research, I learned the Skull and Bones Society was only at Yale University. So I didn't understand what he's talking about, and he would never reply and explain. And so, this other day, he does it again, and claims that it was in his biography, autobiography, biography, whatever, and in 2021. And so I checked, went over it again. Nope, Still Yale University. Nope. Or 2019, sorry. And nope, it was 2021 when his autobiography came out by the disobedient woman who didn't get pregnant when she was a young girl in the Mormon church. And was rewarded by the church instead to become a career woman, being the president of Deseret Book. And became a role model for all other young women in the church, who now go on a mission, who now get an education, who now get a career to be just like her and be disobedient to the prophets, to be a child bride polygamous wife, to start breeding young. And again, the 72,000 was announced after Mays Oakes's young adult youth, I think, devotional, where he had 16-year-old girls in the audience and telling them you need to start breeding earlier. The reports are showing that Mormons are not getting married and having babies until later in life. You're wicked. And so, yeah, babies are cute. I love babies. And if I were to raise them, they'd be like that redhead that I often show the picture of. I'm no pig. And so, Bulkley, on Unrepentant Mormon Comment Replies, sent me this comment. There is a Utah University faction. Now, that's a different university than the University of Utah. The Utah University is Logan, of the Skull and Bones Society and the Owl and Key Society. Google Utah University Skull and Bone Society. So I did. I checked them. And I found this news article in the Daily Utah Chronicle, the University of Utah's independent student voice since 1890, TM. The U's Secret Society, Skull and Bones. And there's a picture of the three guys that came to her interview. They're hooded and masked. This is Amy Lauret, December 4th, 2018. And it should be short enough. Maybe not. Because we're already at 48 minutes here. She says she made contact with some members of the secret society who agreed to meet with me. She doesn't explain how she knew they were a part of this Skull and Bone Society. She doesn't explain why they would reveal themselves. It's supposed to be a secret. On the condition of anonymity. And so, what they do is they send a letter to juniors or seniors who are demonstrating what they want to see from you. You can't go to them, so I don't understand how Amy was able to go to them and ask them for an interview. And so, yeah, they do have women. And I think when I checked last time, Hillary was part of Yale. I can't remember. But they claim, so these are boys at the University of Utah who are dressing up in costumes, talking to another girl at the University of Utah in 2018. They're claiming that they were in existence since (1909). She says they confirmed that the U's Skull and Bone Society is active and was founded, this is now in quotes, was founded by a Skull and Bones alumni from the Yale chapter in 1909. Of course they'll say that. This is not confirmation that President Russell Marion Nelson was a part of the Skull and Bone Society. This is insufficient. Just because in 2018, 3 boys put on costumes and claimed to be of this U of U's Skull and Bone Society does not connect Nelson to it. There are too many questions that Amy doesn't answer or doesn't ask. And so I did some more checking and typed in, was Russell M. Nelson in University of Utah's Skull and Bones fraternity? And there's fairlatterdaysaints.org to protect him at the first. MormonDialogue.org, which was, dear God, a waste of my time, but they had a person who put on a video link, and I went to click on it and said YouTube took it down. It's no longer there. Intriguing. Mysterious. And so then I went to Reddit, r Mormon. Why would God's prophet be involved in Skull and Bones? Well, we haven't established that yet. Had to scroll down. Oh, look, there's Family Guy. How it all ties together. Stewie. And so he links to archive.org. I know that is a legitimate source. And so I clicked on it. And I see the quote, but I don't see the reference, the page number and the name of the book. But I do see in the link, Heart to Heart, an autobiography by Russell M. Nelson. And sure enough, it was the text form. PDF. So yes, I clicked on other formats. It sent me to the main page of the book and then went to the PDF one to click on it. It's 245 pages. It's copyright 1979 by Russell M. Nelson, all rights reserved. And it's got his family picture in there. It's Heart From Heart to Heart is the title of it. And so this is sufficient for me to trust that that quote is indeed from there. I just don't know what the page number is. But I downloaded it. I have it on file. This is how you confirm that Nelson was indeed a Skull and Bones Satanic secret society of fraternal brotherhood at the University of Utah. not spreading myths and misinformation. And so, to quote from the Reddit, from the source that he linked, university life was wonderful and successful. On April 3rd, 1944, I was elected president of the Sigma Chi fraternity. I was also later elected to the honorary societies of Skull and Bones in the junior year. There's confirmation of those three boys dressing up in costumes. Only to juniors and seniors. Owl and Key in the senior year. The Beehive Honorary Society in the senior year. And at graduation time to the Honorary Scholastic Society of Phi Kappa Phi. Not the Pi Moos. Oh, that's the sorority? and Phi Beta Kappa. There are cows in the Book of Mormon. Alrighty, so it is confirmed and established by his own words, which would it be quick and easy to find? University Life and Courtship Days, page 42. Which probably be further than 42. Let's try 44. Life in Washington, D.C. and in the Army. I think we went too far. Oh, they did double the pages. Okay, so 67, yeah, okay. So it's double paged. So it would be back under the 20s. Childhood, whoops. University Life and Courtship Days, okay. Here it is, second paragraph. I enrolled at the University of Utah in 1941. This year had its highs and its lows. I remember how elated I was to be elected to Phi Eta Sigma, an honorary scholastic fraternity for those who had an A record the first year of college. My joy was counterbalanced, however, by my feelings of loss, occasionally by the wedding of my sister Marjorie, on November 14th, 1941, to Robert F. Rolfing. It wasn't that I didn't love him as a brother, I did and do, but it was simply that for the first time in my life there was to be a significant change in our close family unit. The wedding was performed in our home, so not a temple marriage. That's what he meant. An organ-like attachment called a Solavox was connected to our I'm not seeing it. Oops. Okay, here we go. In my first year at the University of Utah, I joined the Sigma Chi fraternity, which proved to be a very interesting and pleasant experience. I ultimately became president of the fraternity and gilded it through some interesting years. I also served as a director of a group that usually won first place in the homecoming song fest competition. In retrospect, blah 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 blah. The second year at the University of Utah, beginning in 1842, marked a serious focus on pre-medical studies. I'm not finding it. Since we had no money to buy an engagement ring, our engagement commenced with my pinning. I got pinned. There's it's a back in time movie where the two brother and sister are fighting over the remote control, and they go back in time, and she's pasty. They talk about pinning. And yeah, it had to do with how those black and white days of TV were restrictive and authoritarian, and nudity brought out the color of life, and cheating on your spouse. And so he pinned Denzel with his Sigma Chi pin to show that he owns her. Yeah, Mormon girls are cuties, that's for sure, but when you fill their head with all sorts of stuff, I'm not saying it, guy. I cannot confirm that quote. Here we go. Wait a minute. Nope. Here it is. Here it is. We found it. University life was wonderful on page 48. Why couldn't you do that? There it is. Yep, he does confirm. I have established as fact Russell Marion Nelson in his autobiography, From Heart to Heart, page 48. And on the other side of the page, page 59, is a picture of women. 1, 2, 3, 4 women. I'm assuming that the other text would tell us what they mean. But yeah, there it is. Just as I quoted. Sure enough. Established as fact after an hour into this video, which we'll see. It could be your welcome back from Thanksgiving surprise tomorrow morning. We'll see. We should put the link in here also. I gotta do stuff. All right.